All right, YouTube, so I've got a special treat for you guys today. I am in Buford, Georgia at Real Rollers with Lee.
Yep, how you guys doing?
Yeah, they're very gracious to invite me out, and they're gonna show you guys like what they do, the mowers they have. You know, you guys always give me grief about the Swordsman. You know, say, Ronnie, you try the Swordsman, they're the greatest things in sliced bread. Well, these guys are the guys that are the dealers for Swordsman in the country, right?
Yep.
Right, so we're gonna go through and you can show me the shop, and then we'll maybe hopefully get out and do some mowing here in a little bit.
Sounds good, let's go.
All right.
So Ron, here we are.
All right.
Into one of our showrooms. We've got here a TruCut and one of the Electras right there.
Nice.
On display.
Nice.
We've got Andrew Draper in here. He is responsible for all of our front roller sales, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, as well as a TruCut. And then we've got Eric, who leads up our Swardman stuff. So
cool.
Great group of guys. We'll take you back in here. Some of our t-shirts. We've had a presidential year that we had going through that t-shirt.
Amazing shirt. I love the shirt. It's pretty awesome.
A couple of hats, koozies, but those are just giveaways that we have when we do different kinds of promotions. But
nice.
Let me show you more about the mowers.
Okay.
Here we have our dedicated Swardman room.
Okay.
In this room here, we do a lot of the configuring for customers. They like to add cup holders, cell phone holders, lights, change the reels, the colors. We do all the assembly in here.
Very cool.
In this area. And right now, this is usually flooded with different mowers, but as you guys know, Corona and COVID, supply's been a big challenge getting mowers and getting really anything.
Right.
So ever since March, we've actually been trying to play catch up. We're still on a back order where we get 50 to 100 mowers a month, and before they make it here, they're already sold.
Nice.
So it's been a good problem, and one that we're definitely beefing up production in for next year.
Very cool. So I see here. So I see you guys. So you guys carry Outlet. You guys. You guys carry the Electra.
The Electra.
And then the TruCut. And I also see an Outlet here. So you guys have. So even though you guys carry primarily TruCut and Swordsman, you are a lover of all real mowers.
That's the truth. I mean, at the end of the day, the whole reason we got into this was our passion for real mowing. I started off with the McLean about 15 years ago, 20-inch McLean. Loved real mowing, loved the way it made my yard look. Immediately bought a front roller for it, well before we owned real rollers. And that's kind of where it all started. From that McLean, I transitioned to a 27-inch, the larger model, TruCut. And I mowed with that mower for 8 years.
Nice.
Loved it. I had Zoysia at the house, and I was just a homeowner that had a passion for turf, like many of the people watching and like you.
Yeah. So, okay, so I mean, we love all mowers, but so you had the McLean, you moved on to the TruCut. As far as some of the positives between the TruCut and like the Electra, like what would you say like in my mind, like the McLean and caliper trimmer are on one level, the TruCut you're stepping up into something that's definitely a little bit more commercial, a little bit more, you know, it's gonna give you a better cut in my mind, and then you have like the Electra, the Swordsman, which are the rare rollers. What's been your experience between the different types of mowers as far as, you know, quality of cut, issues you might have had with them, that kind of thing?
So between the McLean and trimmer and the TruCut, I kind of put them in a category of their own, probably similar to you. These are real mowers.
Right.
They were designed, you know, many years ago, all steel, very heavy duty. The biggest difference that I see in those mowers, personally, in my preference, is, and we'll show you outside when we get a chance to go to the turf park.
Sure.
But one of the things we like to do here is give customers the opportunity to try every mower.
Cool.
Whether you love a McLean, a trimmer, a TruCut, a Swardman, or an Electra, we've got them all here. And we like customers to come out when they can and try them out and find out what's best for them, a good fit for them. But on the TruCut, I think the biggest advantage a TruCut has compared to a trimmer or a McLean in this situation is the ability to control your ground speed.
Sure.
The maneuverability. The fact that a trimmer, McLean, and many of the greens mowers share one commonality, and that is the elevated rear wheel that is not on this mower.
Sure.
That is a continual motion. And we'll show that outside, side by side. But the fact of it is, you drop the wheel, and that is your speed going forward. And when you can't stop until you pull that wheel up.
So it locks you into going. Once you're going, you're going.
You're going, you're committed. You can even take your hands off and it's still going and it's still cutting.
Gotcha.
What I love about the TruCut and why I fell in love with the TruCut originally, before I was introduced to Swardman, was this thumb control, where it enables you to creep or go faster depending on where you are. Very easy to turn. The other thing about this is the differential.
Right.
Just like a Swardman, which is I think very important,
right,
is that the wheels or the rear drum are split and they turn at different directions when you go to turn, so you don't have that burnout.
Right.
So you find often with a TruCut, when you're running it, as you turn, you may be giving it gas because this tire is slowly moving and this left tire is the drive tire bringing you around the turn.
I got you.
So I just think from a maneuverability, the TruCut is far superior to the McLean and Trimmer because of that rear wheel drop design.
I got you.
When we get out in the turf park, we can compare the Swardman to it as well, because I really do see these Swardman, the gas Edwin, and the Electra, which is battery powered, just a class of their own. It's a mower system.
I gotcha.
It's just a different level, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as far as what you can do with this mower versus the traditional reel mower.
Awesome. And now the Electra, that's the electric powered one, right? So as far as you know, I've got almost 12,000 square feet. Am I gonna be able to get through an entire mow with one of those on a single charge?
Great question. So I have about 12.5 at my house.
Okay.
And the first time I tried the Electra, I wanted to see how far the battery truly went.
Okay.
It's advertised to go 15,000 square feet
right.
in what we call beast mode. And I'll show you a little bit more about that. It has two settings. It has a regular mowing mode and it has a beast mode. Beast mode is full speed, full power, all out. I mowed my yard 3.5 times. So we're looking at about 40,000 square feet over a month period.
Wow.
On one charge.
Nice, that's
you
nice.
can't do that consistently because with electronic components, they heat and heat's the enemy.
Sure.
So to run a mower that long, the batteries will heat up, the motor will heat up. I believe I was capable of that because it was broken into 3 mows.
Right.
On one mow, 15,000, 12,000 square feet, you're never gonna have a problem.
Yeah, because that's the thing, guys. I mean, some of you guys may have some concerns about electric mowers, but I mean, you think about it, there's a lot of convenience. You don't have to deal with gas. And again, if you're under, let's say, 30,000 square feet on your lawn, you can easily get through a single mow probably without challenge. So I kind of doubt most of you guys are gonna be pushing 30,000 square feet with a manual reel mower. So awesome.
All right. Cool.
Awesome.
Well, let me show you the rest of the place.
Sure. All right. All right.
So out here, this is our warehouse here at Rear Rollers. Okay. This is our 3rd move in 3 years. Nice. Every year where the growth has been so big that we've had to double in size. And so this time we're planted on 3 acres that we purchased, and have plenty of room to build additional warehouses as we continue to grow. But we have our shop broken up into a couple pieces. Really important to us is being efficient and lean. Try to keep the prices down, try to keep our costs down, and we want to make sure that we have really great employees that work here, Andrew and Eric and myself. My wife Ashley helped us out tremendously. Nice. So we try to make things very systematic. Okay. You'll see over here in this corner, very empty. Traditionally, this is much fuller, but this is our roller production stations. Sure. And what we do here, we assemble and manufacture the roller from start to end. Awesome. So we have companies that will go out and cut these individual plates. Right. We weld on parts to them, get them drilled, get them powder coated. Okay. And then from there, you would assemble it with a smooth roller or a grooved roller. And we'll talk about the differences in these here in a second. Yeah. If it's a McLean or a Trimmer, they mount a little bit differently. A 25 versus a 20 inch, they mount a little bit differently. So we have this pipe going across the top that allows it to go across for the height adjustment. I gotcha. As you guys probably know, the TruCut is basically these end plates that lock into the front so that you have that. And I think the really important thing that people may not know is when you switch out those front wheels for a roller, it is the exact same height. The exact same height adjustment ability to the millimeter. So you're not really changing anything or losing anything? Absolutely not. So that ability is still there 100% with the roller, and the difference it makes in your yard is a game changer. And we'll talk about that on the turf park a little bit. Sure. So you guys carry rollers for, looks like I see some McLean here, I see TruCut. So which ones can people get rollers from you guys with? So McLean 20 and 25, the Trimmer 20 and 25, and then TruCut, the 20 inch, 25 inch, and of course the 27 inch. So basically those 3 brands of mowers, and any size they come in, we manufacture a custom roller for it. Very nice, very nice. And as far as grooved versus smooth, the advantages, disadvantages? Yeah, let's talk about it right now. In your mind? Yeah. A roller versus non-roller. So traditionally you have the 2 front wheels. Sure. And if you envision the contact points, a lot of people say, well, my yard's not smooth yet for a reel mower. Right. And I think that is partially true, but I think there's more to that story that people don't really understand. One of those things is, when you say your yard is bumpy, you're probably using a rotary mower to drive that comparison. Right. You're not using a reel mower. And the difference between a rotary, almost like this 4-wheeler, if you look at it right here, sitting here, it has 4 contact points. Sure. And on a reel mower, you have that has wheels, you have 4 contact points in a rotary mower. And those contact points are only about 1 inch each. Front wheels, back wheels, you have 4 inches of contact.
Right.
When you change those front wheels over to a roller, 2 things happen. One, even if your yard's not the most even, and when I say even, I'm talking about bumps, not slopes.
Sure.
Even, those wheels are constantly gonna be falling into the hole. And your bed knife is following this reel, or the wheels, this roller or the wheels, and every time it's bumping, it's pivoting.
Sure.
With a reel mower, the beauty is you're really only pivoting on one axis, left to right.
I've got you.
On a rotary mower, because you have 4 wheels, 21 inches apart traditionally,
Right.
because of the blade size, you've got 4 axes, constantly bumping with only one little point of contact where that wheel is.
So scalping is much more of an issue.
Scalping happens way more. You could take your yard today and go as low as you can with the rotary, and let's say you're lucky and you don't scalp at all.
Right.
You're maybe at about 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, maybe 2 inches. With a reel mower, you would be able to, with a roller specifically, drop down to 3/4 inch and probably never scalp your entire yard, no matter how bumpy it is.
Very nice.
And the reason being is that blade is straight and the roller's right in front of it.
Right.
It's not a big circular rotary blade that can hit the front, the back, the left, the right.
Right. It's only cutting from one direction.
You're only cutting one line, one direction, and it is mimicking the path of this roller, which is keeping you at the highest point and not falling into every deviation.
I got you.
So that's why I think the roller, number one, is, and a reel mower, you know, versus a rotary makes significant difference on scalping and cutting height.
Okay. So I'm sold on the rotor. I'm sold on the roller.
Yep.
And now, say if I'm going to decide between like the solid or the groove.
Yeah. So the better your yard is, the more you've been reel mowing. What you'll notice is, you see these trees back here in the background.
Sure.
You can see the canopy is about 15 feet and higher. What you're doing with the reel mower is you're taking that canopy, almost like I compare it to an Amazon forest. And when you look underneath it, it's very hollow, very empty. What we're doing is we're taking that canopy and we're bringing it down, almost like a reforestation when there's a fire in a forest. And it comes back livelier than ever.
Okay.
Thick, low to the ground. That's all we're doing with your Bermuda, Zoysia, Kentucky bluegrass. We're bringing that canopy down, and when you do that, your turf is gonna start to grow more grass blades per square inch, thicker, and what you find is your rollers and mower will be riding on your turf, not riding on your soil.
I got you.
So when you transition from a reel mower, from a rotary, a couple things happen about that levelness, and I'll get to why this is important on the rollers. It is, you're dropping down the canopy, you're creating a dense turf, similar to this grass, artificial grass here.
Okay.
On your rotary, you're digging down and you're following the soil. Once your grass is brought down with a reel mower, the canopy, your roller's now gonna roll on top. So it's not rolling on the soil level, it's rolling on your dense lawn.
Gotcha.
When you get to this level of reel mowing and you've done this 2 or 3 years and your grass looks like this, you actually wanna start getting back down to the soil level. And what a grooved roller does compared to a smooth roller, one, you get a tighter cut because you're sitting down in the grass.
Okay.
That's a big benefit. 2, you reduce a lot of movement because these grooves are holding you in a very straight line. It makes your lines a lot straighter.
I got you.
The third and most beneficial factor is if you have a leaf that's dried out and you walk up to it and you step on it 10 times,
Sure.
what happens to it?
It gets mashed down. And
Breaks up into small pieces and basically disintegrates faster.
Sure.
What these grooves do is they cut through the grass turf level and put pressure on the thatch layer.
I see.
And as you continuously roll over the thatch layer with these grooves, that pressure is constantly going to break it down.
Okay.
And then you're going to help reduce your thatch layer through natural modes versus scarifying or dethatching as some would do, which you still need to do, but this is a non-stop dethatching process. And the more you can dethatch, the more nutrients and water can get down to your soil, healthier your lawn.
Gotcha.
The smooth roller,
Very cool.
you're rolling on top. You're never touching that thatch layer, so you're not really helping that factor.
So you start out then with a smooth roller when you're first going from rotary to a to reel. You start with your smooth roller, but once you kind of get everything under control, the lawn's doing well, moving to that groove roller is not only going to produce a better cut, but also healthier for the, as far as like eliminating thatch over time and that kind of thing.
Absolutely, you're going to cut more blades.
Okay. Very cool. Well, let's get out and just see some of the, as far as what you guys got. Now guys, here's the thing. When I pulled up here, not only do these guys sell mowers, they actually have like, what you guys call it, the mower park or the grass
turf
park?
park.
Turf park. It's pretty insane. So they've got like a couple different grass types they've got out there. One of the questions you guys always ask me is about, you know, Bermuda overseeded with rye, and I always say, oh, I'm not so sure, the way it looks. these guys have actually got that. So you're gonna get to see that here in a second.
So come on out here, and we've got ourselves what we call our turf park. This has been a dream of mine for 5 years, ever since we started really getting into the real rollers and starting the business off. I always want a place for customers to be able to test out.
Sure.
Number one, different lawnmowers, but number two, different types of turf. My dream of this was once a whole big gravel parking pad about 6 months ago.
Okay.
We scraped all the gravel off, brought in topsoil and some top dressing and soil, and then planted 3 different plots of grass that I wanted to have separated, because not only do I want people to be able to test out every brand of reel mower on the market and find the one that's not only the one they like the most, but the one that fits their price point. Because everybody's got a different price point.
Sure.
That's understandable.
Sure, makes sense.
I also want to test things out here. You know, I want to take this is El Toro Zoysia. El Toro Zoysia is a fat blade Zoysia. I call it a lazy man's grass because it doesn't grow very fast. It's very disease resistant. It is just a steady eddy that doesn't require a ton of maintenance.
Right.
So I call it the lazy man's Zoysia, but that's just me. But I'd like to, this spring, take half of it and let's dethatch, verticut, scalp one half.
Right.
And let's not do it over here.
And see what we get.
And let's see what happens. Like, I don't know all the answers, and most of you probably don't either, because it's very rare for somebody at their home to cut their yard into pieces and treat it differently. Usually you just try something, and there's so many external factors, weather, rain, sun, temperatures, that may make your yard great that year or bad that year, that you don't really know if your intervention made the difference.
So you've got a Zoysia here. This is, what's this called?
This is El Toro.
El Toro,
which
and then
is also like an Empire.
Like an Empire.
Fat
and
blade.
then we've also got...
This is Zeon.
Zeon Zoysia,
This has become very popular lately. It's a beautiful grass to look at. It's a really challenging grass to mow.
Okay.
It grows super dense, super thick, and super fast.
I got you.
Definitely a candidate for PGR when it gets to the growing season. Compared to a grass like this that grows like it's got PGR on it all the time.
Got you. Okay.
It's just slow rolling. And then over here, we got 419 Bermuda. And it's been overseeded with rye. We did that in early September, and that's because I've never done it before, and I thought it'd be an awesome thing to try.
Okay.
And it enables us a chance to mow year round.
So 419, so this is 419. So this is the thing you guys always ask about in the live stream. You're always saying, should we take Bermuda overseed with rye? What's it gonna look like? So this is 419, which is very common in Georgia, very common in the Southeast, and we've overseeded with a rye. Now, it's a perennial rye, annual rye? Which
perennial rye.
Perennial rye,
Big difference.
Very cool, okay.
A big difference. If you ever overseed, even though you're only doing it for a season, you absolutely want to use perennial.
Use perennial,
it's it's a little bit more expensive, but it gives you a better color and a better rye.
Okay.
Again, not my word, it's what everybody told me to do.
Sure, sure.
And now I'm seeing the evidence.
What's nice about this, I'm just looking at it, hopefully this is coming through in the video, guys. It's got like a nice bit of shininess to it, like the rye adds almost, it looks almost like a lighter green. You can kind of see how the two look together, and I mean, overall, that's pretty nice.
Yeah,
not bad. Cool.
Something else we built in here just for fun was a little bit of contour, and then we wanted to add a slope. People all the time are asking us, how well does a reel mower climb a hill? Which reel mower is best for a big slope in my front yard?
Right.
At least my house, in my neighborhood, the houses are built up and the front yard kind of comes down to the street level. So it's very common for a front yard to have some type of elevation in most people. So what we did is we built this as an elevation. It's about 12 degrees of slope. And we just wanted people to feel what it was like to come up and down a hill with any of the reel mowers. Again, the idea was this to be a park and to just try different things.
Very cool, very cool. So you got slope, you got a little bit of everything here. You got different types of grass. So this is pretty awesome, man. As far as making content, this is like, it's pretty cool. You know, so I've never tried out the Swardman. I'd like to give it a go because, you know, I've got the Greensmaster, I've got the TruCut, which is near and dear to my heart, and I've heard a lot of things about the Swardman. So how I set this down, I give it a pass here on the.
I think it sounds great.
Tifway 419.
Cool.
All right, guys. Let's go. So as far as startup, Lee, what am I looking at here for as far as starting one of these guys up?
Oh, sure. So you've got your choke and your fuel here.
Okay.
A big thing is having the fuel shut off. People don't know, but a lot of the GC mowers, the Hondas that are aerodynamic looking, they don't have a fuel shut off.
Okay.
It's a huge factor, I think, just in any mower. So when you get any mower, I think it's important to be able to have a fuel shut off. This is your on off. All we do, you don't have to run these at full throttle. It doesn't take a lot of power to run a reel mower, believe it or not, because it's just a cylinder. And you'll pull the cord and we should be good to go.
Okay.
Let it warm up a second.
Very cool.
Outside of that, this is your safety for your reel.
Okay.
And this is your ground propulsion. Harder you squeeze, faster you go.
Okay.
Don't feel bad about spinning the wheels. The back drum is part of it. It's that floor buffer feel. You're gonna fishtail. Okay. And that grooved roller locks you in the front, which is all that matters.
All right.
So have fun with it.
Let's give it a go. So
I never let go of the reel, but just like you don't at home.
All right, and oh wow, that's nice.
So quiet compared to what you're used to.
It's quiet and it's smooth, very smooth. Very smooth. Yeah, that's nice.
Always amazing the stripes that Rye leaves.
Yeah, that's impressive, man. The stripe action. I actually gotta show you guys that. Guys, take a look at that. I mean, that's not bad right there. I don't care who you are. So you see the light stripes me going away, and then the dark stripes coming towards me. That's clean, guys. I like it. I like it. And listen, I don't need another mower, so I'm not buying like another mower. But it's I gotta tell you, that as far as something that approaches like the Greensmaster, that's actually pretty nice. And the one thing with this that's kind of nicely that I noticed is that when it, unlike my Greensmaster, backing it up, like say like when I get to an end of a pass and I want to back up, it's really difficult because the way the drive system on the Greensmaster are set up, you have to kind of disengage the reel, back it up, and then re-engage the reel and go. This thing was a treat, was very easy.
Gotcha.
Now, as far as maintenance goes, what am I looking at? What's a view you're looking at as far as maintenance on one of these types of mowers?
Yeah, sure. So I think there's a couple unique things about these, Swardman in particular. One, the engine it comes with is a Briggs & Stratton engine that you see commonly on a lot of different outdoor power equipment. Easy to get parts. One of the coolest things I think about this entire mower, I call it the fanny pack.
Sure.
These two tools take apart the entire mower.
Nice.
Can you imagine? You don't have to go looking for a socket, a different size. These two tools enable you to basically take apart the entire mower. And what I love about Swardman is how intuitive they made it. Okay. So from a maintenance, all we have right here, magnetic cover, no screws, no bolts. Okay. And what you have is 3 belts. These belts usually last about a year or two. Okay. In the event that one wears out, they're only about $9. It's not chains, there's no zerks anywhere on this mower. There's nothing else. It's just these 2 cables over time for your engagements may need to be tightened up a little bit. Sure. Once a season. And then the belts, they have these tensioners that make them very easy to come off. It's not, you're not fighting. Like, how many belts have you had where you sit there with a screwdriver, a flathead? And
I just did a change on my Greensmaster because one of the belts broke, and it was a trial getting it on. Getting it off and getting it off was already broken, but getting it on, that's way easier.
It came off real easy.
Yeah, it came off real easy. Getting it back on was a bit of a fight.
Putting it back on, you go over the tensioner, under the tensioner. So that's the only disposable part really is these belts. Okay. And then magnetic cover goes right back on. And then the reel.
Very cool.
I think it's important to get those sharpened usually once to twice a season. Okay. It's a spin grind on that particular reel. Okay. And fortunately, if I show you underneath real quick. Sure. If you see that bed knife. Yeah. That bed knife is a disposable bed knife, we call it. Okay. And you replace it with usually once a year. Okay. $22.
Oh wow! Yeah,
it's truly disposable versus $180 to $200 for the other bed knives. So.
Right. So not expensive to buy parts for to operate. Now, one of the big things with this that a lot of people that have these seem to like is the fact that you have the interchangeable cartridge. So right now we've got the cylinder cutting head on here. Yep. What are some other options you can get for this that'll do that this mower can handle as well?
Sure. So there's really 4 cartridges that you can use. Okay. There's a 6-blade or a 10-blade reel. Okay. So we'll call it a reel cutting cartridge. Okay. The second most popular cartridge would be the Dethatcher. Okay. It's a scarifier. Okay. And that can be used for really, I think, 3 things that I like to use it for. 1, obviously, dethatcher. Sure. 2, if you're like us, we have a lot of mulch around our yards, and often over the winter, that gets embedded into the soil. So that your first mow, you've got mulch around your flower beds embedded and all sorts of debris. Right. Dethatcher does a great job of scooping those up and putting those into the grass catcher to dispose of before you start. And then the third thing I like to use it for actually is after I aerate. Now this doesn't aerate, but when you aerate, you get the plugs on top of your ground. Okay. The goal is to try to get that nice soil that you spent money making over time.
So you can break it up?
Back in. You take the scarifier without a grass catcher. Sure. It explodes those little plugs.
Becomes just dust.
Dust right back into the soil. So those are the 3 reasons why I use it.
Okay.
The other 2 cartridges are a verticutter, and I can show you some of these.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't know they brought them out.
No, yeah.
So this was a dethatcher that we just spoke about.
Sure.
When it's in place, just obviously scratches up the turf. These are spring-loaded little tines.
Okay.
Again, when I think about operational costs, $2 for one of these. They last forever. I've never had to replace mine, but again, they're not trying to make money on parts.
I got you.
This would be the verticutter.
All right, so this is a little heavier duty here.
A little heavier duty. What this does, and what you use this for, well, all that rye was seeded using a verticutter.
Very nice.
So what we did is we scalped the Bermuda.
Sure.
And then we scalped it down to about 1/2 inch, a little under 1/2 inch. We then took the verticutter, put it in the Swardman, and we ran it 2 directions.
Okay.
Once this way and once this way.
Okay, so perpendicular to each
And
other.
what that created in perpendicular were little postage stamp slits.
Okay.
We went and overseeded that.
Sure.
And then we came back, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Landsy. It's a green moss spreader.
Okay.
It's a barrel. And we put top dressing in that.
Okay.
And just rolled it over this one time.
Right.
And it was done.
And you're done.
And that was it. It was really cool to try this out. But what this does is, I'll use a golf analogy. The goal of this device is to make all of your grass grow vertical. So if you don't verticut your yard, your grass can grow vertical, 45 degrees, 30 degrees,
all
everywhere.
over.
Very much like this grass is. It's not all going straight up.
Right.
What a verticutter does is cuts the root system and the grass into squares when you go perpendicular, and it promotes the grass to grow vertical.
Okay.
And not grow every which direction. What that does is, one, it makes your grass denser because it's denser vertical.
Okay.
Not everywhere.
Right. Right.
Number 2, it allows more grass blades to grow per square inch because it's all going vertical. And in the golf world, they do this on golf courses because a golf ball will sit 1/2 inch higher in grass that's been verticut because all the grass is going up.
I see.
Versus a non-verticut grass, the ball sits down.
Which is less fair to the player that hit a good shot.
So it's almost, it's a PGA rule that you have to have certain parts of the course verticut. So
Okay.
it's an equal play, which should be grass growing up.
Very cool. I see you got a brush attachment there behind you too.
Yeah.
What is this?
So this is a rotary brush, the last of the attachments. This is probably the least common used one.
Okay.
But it really has its niche when you're top dressing or you're trying to level your yard with sand.
Okay.
This does a tremendous job of working that sand that you've spread out all over your yard and tried to level. This will help work it into the grass and below the grass level. Great for picking up debris, but generally this is used for one of 2 reasons. To help with leveling projects. Sure. And also a lot of our customers have AstroTurf. Okay. Somewhere on the property usually. And what I mean by that is like a putting green. A lot of our folks have a putting green artificial, but then a beautiful yard surrounding it. And they use this to keep the artificial grass cleaned up and tidy.
Very nice, very nice. Dude, this is awesome. This has been incredible, man. So the Swords, what I have to tell you guys, I am very impressed because you guys know next year, one of my projects is to overseed my Bermuda. I've done it already with RM15, and one of these, that might be coming really, really handy to being able to do my entire lawn and get a better result. So, because I did not verticut it in years past, so maybe that's something I need to consider doing, definitely need to do next year. Well, Lee, thank you so much for having me out, man. I truly appreciate it. So now, Real Rollers, if people need to get a hold of you guys, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
You can just visit our website. It's realrollers.com.
Okay, realrollers.com, and from there they can get on pricing if they need a call about as far as getting a mower or anything like that. They can call you guys.
You can look us up, and I'd love to talk to you. This is what we love to do.
Awesome, awesome, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys found this fun. I mean, hopefully I'll be able to come out here and shoot some more content with these guys. They've got an awesome facility here that's going to be great for answering a lot of questions. Maybe we can do like a mower lineup and just just create more content that's more useful for you guys that are trying to decide on that perfect mower for your situation. Guys, thanks again so much for watching. Please like, share, comment. If you're not yet a subscriber, consider subscribing. I will see you guys next time. Have an amazing day.